Hello, guys. GN, for those of you guys in the US and European areas. Okay, so we will wait a few minutes for everybody to roll in before starting our AMA today. It's just going to be me today because Mark is still on his way. But hopefully, I will be enough. Cool. 73 people already. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. We had a pretty good price action in our floor price yesterday, and finally OpenSea fixed the bug with the 0.499 item that was sitting on the floor. So we are looking at a pretty decent floor price. Congratulations everybody who got in on the mint or earlier. You guys should all be seeing some pretty good gains. And yeah, I'm very confident that with the roadmap and everything that we have planned out, things are only going to be going up from this point forward. Okay, so looks like we have 73 people still. Let's wait a little bit more for everyone else to roll in, and we will get started. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna get started. So before we go into the Q&A portion of today's meeting, I would like to first start by giving you guys a couple updates. The first update I think all of you guys are wondering about is regarding our token. When is it claimable? When is the website going to be up? How exactly does it work? I know in the AMA last week, I mentioned that if you transfer your token, if you transfer your NFT from one wallet to another, we would reset the token accumulation. So after discussing with the team, since we are now heavily promoting for people to get a cold wallet to safely store their NFTs and to avoid future hacks, we are removing this particular feature. So what that means is your NFT will still retain whatever accumulated tokens, friendship tokens on there, even if you transfer from one wallet to another, or if you are buying an NFT on OpenSea right now, it would still have the token accumulated in there. And it starts accumulating from the moment the NFT is minted. So we started minting pre-sale on February 7th and then ended on the 9th, which was the last token that was the last NFT that was minted. So it would start anywhere in between depending on when your NFT is minted. That's when we start calculating how much token you will be getting. And we are going to be deploying the smart contract for the token generation as well as the website for you to claim your token on the 25th, which is about a week from now. And in this website, I think actually yesterday Mark posted some design mockups that we have for the website, which we are working on implementing right now. So in the website, there's going to be two portions. The first portion will be a tool for you to type in your NFT number to check how much token is still unclaimed under this NFT, as well as whether or not the 3D pass has been claimed on this NFT. So this will help you when you're browsing on OpenSea to look at whether or not there's still token remaining unclaimed in this NFT you're looking at purchasing. And then the second portion of the website will be a tool that you connect your wallet with, and it will display the NFTs that you have in your wallet, the Zoofrenz NFTs, and how many tokens are still remaining on each one of these NFTs for you to claim. The way the token mechanics work is we are now allowing you to claim once every 24 hours. So on the website, you can click on the NFT, press claim. After you claim the token that's allowed on the NFT, we will show a timer that starts counting down from 24 hours. However, I actually don't recommend you guys to be claiming so much because every time you claim, you would actually be paying gas fees. And like I said, we want to try to find whatever avenue we can to save you on gas fees. So a couple of implementations we did to allow you to save on gas. Number one is we removed staking for our contract. So token generation does not require you to stake your NFT. And then the token claiming part, I think I would recommend you guys to just claim token whenever you actually need to use it. You don't actually need to claim every day. If you don't claim it, it's just going to sit there and accumulate like it would in a bank. If you put money in a bank, it just generates more wealth over time. So it's a similar idea. Let's see what else I have to go over. Yeah, so the website will be up by Friday. And then we are aiming for about 7 to 10 days after that is when the float tanks would start. The float tank contract and the 3D first class pass contract would be up for you guys to start purchasing. So hopefully in 7 to 10 days, which is what we're aiming for, you guys can all start buying and trading 3D passes and float tank. They will both be individual NFTs. So the first class pass will be an NFT that you can you can trade on OpenSea as well as the float tank. They're all tradable items. Okay, so with that said, I think that kind of gives an overview of what we've been working on, and I'm going to open the floor to people that have questions, and I will answer individually. Oh, sorry, I didn't turn this on. I just turned it on. Okay. Wakaka. All right, so before I start taking questions, because we do have a pretty large number of people, so let's limit to 2 questions per person. All right, feel free to raise your hands, by the way. I am going to bring up Wakaka. Hello? You're muted. Hey, Wakaka.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep. How's it going?
Okay, perfect. Good morning.
Morning. GM.
GM. And my first question is that I found people have quite high expectation on the first cut pass. So would love to clarify more about the benefit. As mentioned in yesterday AMA, it was like a physical gift, like including t-shirt and some figures. While I would love to know if this is a one-time benefit or is a VIP permanent identity that the owner might have like some future benefits as well. Is my first question. Yeah. And and the other question is that in the Reborn Connection, as the team mentioned that there will be some zombie, like around 200 zombie. And is there like any robot or Gummy in the Reborn Connection as well? Yeah, that's my second question. Thank you.
Okay, so about the... Hold on, give me a second. Writing your questions. Yeah, so about the first class pass. Yeah, let me clarify on that a little bit. We haven't nailed down the exact details, but the current plan is to actually have 2 different options for you. So one of them will be the physical merch of Apparel. So we are working with the InnoRocks, the company that does a lot of the apparels for League of Legends with Riot. So they are currently working with us to design some jackets and clothings for Zoofrenz. And that is one of the benefits that you would receive from the first class pass. The other one that we mentioned is the vinyl toys. So that's also something we're working on right now. Now, you asked about additional benefits on top of that. I mean, obviously, this pass is going to be there, even after you claim your physical merch. So the way I'm looking at it is, since you guys are the first ones to claim and there's a very limited amount, any kind of activities that we do after that, whether it's in the metaverse or in the physical world, we will have some special perks attached to the holders of these passes. I don't have exact details because we are still planning on those right now. obviously with COVID happening across the world, it's a little bit more difficult to plan out these physical events. But, seeing that we do have a very strong community already formed just in the last month, that is something that we would, hope to be able to provide, is these physical gatherings or events or parties specifically for the first class pass holders. And then your second question with the allocation of these different types. So the short answer is yes, everything will be included. You will have zombies, you will have gummy, you'll have robots, as well as regular awakened apes. The regular awakened apes would look a little different from the normal ape friends. But in addition to that, we are actually going to be introducing new types into the 3,333, and we will be showing you guys some sneak peeks for what these new types are in the following week. Yeah, we'll start sharing. So a little bit more about these 3,333 ape friends. We're actually introducing a lot of new traits into this collection. So in there, even if you get like a rarity 1 ape out of the Awakened collection, chances are you'll probably be seeing traits that are not existing in the current collection. So yeah, I think I may have mentioned this before. When we first started on this project, the team just went crazy and started working on a ton of traits. So as a result, we had to cut out some of them from the current collection, and then now we're using some of the traits that we didn't use in the Awakened collection. And then in addition, the team is also now working on, just after seeing which kind of traits you guys like in the OpenSea trading and how people are collecting different traits and reacting to them, we're also now adding new traits that we think you guys will love. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, perfect. As well as I know that the VIP, the first class pass is permanent, then yeah, I will working hard to get more items to claim it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your answer. Happy with that. Yeah.
Cool.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Okay, so does anybody else have questions? Because I am not seeing requests. Don't be shy. It's the time to ask questions. We have a lot of boosters. Sub. All right, you're up. You're up next.
Hey, man. I was just wondering, you said that there's going to be new traits and, some apes are going to be awakened. What about the 101 unique ones, the 18? Do they stay only 18, or are you guys introducing more unique ones?
We will probably be introducing new unique ones. Actually, we will definitely be introducing new unique ones, but don't expect 18 of them because the collection is a much smaller one. And then we're also introducing new types of apes on top of that. So we are going to try and maintain the distribution of different rarities. So it will end up similar to the current standing. But the thing is, since we're introducing new types and new traits, we'll probably have to take a little bit from the rank 1 distribution to spread it out into these new traits and 1-on-1s.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Does anybody else have questions? No? Wow, this is a first. Tipica, yo. How's it going? You are muted, so you would need to unmute.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, yesterday I was in the Mandarin version of AMA.
Yeah.
I heard that there's some events that help those having commons, like only have a single apes to have like the token.
Yeah.
More token? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think by now everyone's so excited by the float tank and the awaken mechanics that they are kind of, it seems like the community kind of forgot that we are a metaverse project. I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about the 3D, which is what, like, personally, that's what I'm really excited about, is the 3D avatar. So what we want to do is we do have a showcase built in Substrata, which is a metaverse that we are building a demo for our vision in. So over the next week or two, we're going to hold events in Substrata to give away more friendship tokens. So the idea is some of the holders with only one ape, and if they're only rank 1, they will obviously accumulate tokens a little bit slower than people with more apes or people with higher rarity apes. And we want to take care of these guys and keep everything fair. So the events would allow everybody to come in, and as long as you participate, you would have a chance at earning more tokens. And hopefully this will give you a little bit of a leg up in getting the float tanks.
Okay, that's good. Oh, I saw the Twitter when I joined
Yeah.
the 3D verse. It was like so adorable. That's why I joined. Okay,
Oh,
that's
thank
all.
you. Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Next, we have Leo. Leo, how's it going?
Great. Can you hear me, Alex?
Yep.
Yep. I actually, one of my friends asked me, want me to come up here to ask something. I didn't want to ask this.
Okay. Nothing too hard, please.
Something like on the sneak peek or somewhere else, like the Apex actually have a mount, like a car, like a planet, like a Goku sitting on a planet like that. So what will that when will that happen in the future?
Okay.
That
I was
with
wondering.
the or another thing?
What was that? Sorry.
Is that with the Awaken or something else?
Yeah, I was wondering when people would start noticing that, because we did take it out of this current collection. Yeah, we actually have a pretty large number of, we're calling it bases as traits designed, but it was not put in this collection because we wanted to save it for the Awaken collection. So yeah, a part of the Awaken apes would have bases, and yeah, right now we are trying to reserve them for rank 6. So that's one of the
Ooh.
yeah, that's one of the perks that you get for rank 6.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, that's all I want to ask. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for being so observant.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jenton. Star Lab. Hello, Jenton. I gave you permission. You should be able to come up and speak. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask someone else to come here. Tanner's cookbook.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, sorry, I just joined the AMA. I don't know if it got asked before. Okay, you know the float tank, right? Use one current ape, and then you use the token, and then you get a chance to get like a re-roll with a chance of ascended, correct?
Yes.
Doesn't matter whether you are using a rarity 1, rarity 2, does that impact the chance of getting a rarity 6? So for example, like, I don't believe anyone would ever use a rarity 5 or a rarity 4, right? Unless there's let's say, if you use a rarity 5, there's a 50% chance you get ascended.
Yeah, that is not in the current plans. The idea, the whole idea of the float tanks was to give people that don't like their current apes a chance to, get something else. I think, yeah, I think you're correct. That is also our assumption that people that got, higher rarity probably will be less likely to re-roll or awake, go through the re-roll process with the apes. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you hold a rarity 4 one or rarity ranking 4, ranking 5 one that you don't actually like the visuals, then you could potentially take that chance and re-roll it. It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, your current ranking doesn't allow. I mean, doesn't affect the outcome of your reroll.
Okay. So it sort of gives value to the whole set. Like, even though a lot of people would have gone rarity once, there's still a use for it now. So like, no. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, we had some other people that dropped off.
How do
Oh, oops. I moved him to the audience. Tenor, if you have another question, feel free to raise your hand again. I can answer it. Oh, we have a heavy hitter here. I know who you are. Alex, what's up?
How you doing, Alex?
Good. I'm a big fan, man.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
supporting.
Much. Hi to our Zoofrenz community out there. I'm Alex from Taiwan Happy Family.
Alex is a big shot.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I was on the Chinese chat yesterday listening, and I think a lot of the questions that I originally had were answered, but I had to drop off. But one question that I was curious about was, this whole thing with the float tank was super cool because it gives you a chance to, get a second at bat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question was, when you put your ape that you kind of maybe not as satisfied with in the float tank, and it comes out and it gets an awakened. You said it comes into a different NFT collection, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean the original one gets burned from the 6666 collection, and then so that collection will actually get smaller?
Yes, that is correct. So
Okay, so at the end of the day, there'll be two collections, both with 3,333, if everybody awakens their ape.
yeah, that is, I think, in the ideal world, if everybody does burn or use up their float tank, that's what we'll end up with. However, I don't actually think, at least looking from how other NFT projects have been working with like Clone X as well as Bored Apes with the mutant apes, some people are probably going to be saving their float tanks and just trading that.
That's what I'm saying. But the actual possibility is that if you use it, then you lose your original ape friend from the original 6,600 collection, and then it goes into the new collection. So it'll just, at the end, there'll still be two collections of 3,333, right?
Yep, that's what we'll end up with in the ideal scenario. So the reason why we decided to do that is we actually have two different smart contracts to handle these two different collections. So with each different smart contract, the way OpenSea handles it is every smart contract just goes into their own collection. That's why we'll have different collections, one for the original 8 friends and then the other one for the awakened 8 friends. In terms of rarity, there's not going to be too much of a disparity between, either one. I mean, obviously in the awakened one, you would have a rarity ranking 6. So the distribution for that would be a little different, but in general, if you zoom out and look at everything together, we'll try to keep the spread of each different rarity ranking in terms of percentage pretty close to what it is right now. Yeah, and then some of you guys might be worried about what does that do to my current standing? Is that going to change it? Is it going to go up or down? Yeah, that will change it for the short term, but in the long run, once everybody turns their ape into and get the 3D NFT, all the apes will come back into one big family, into one collection. So the 3D NFT will be in one collection.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Can I ask a couple of other questions, or do we have time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Let's do it.
So I just wanted to be clear on the process from the float tank as opposed to the zoo class pass. If you awaken your ape, then you can still go get your zoo class pass, right? But if you actually get your avatar pass, you cannot go awaken your ape. Is that correct?
Yeah, because we are so we are binding your ape to anytime you claim a first class pass or the 3D avatar pass,
Yes.
your NFT will get marked as
Yes. Okay.
an NFT that has claimed. And the reason we want to do this is, like, when we're initially designing the system, we found that there would be a loophole if we don't do this, where people would potentially just claim a pass and then go back, re-roll their ape, and then claim another pass. And then what we'll end up getting is more than 6,666 3D passes in the end. So we're binding your NFT, your 2D NFT, to the pass. This way, we will avoid overflow of supply later on. And then,
Okay, cool.
and then in terms of awakening, each 2D NFT can only use a float tank once. So once you have awakened your ape, you can't do it again.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. So you got one shot. Well, it's your second shot, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then the first class zoo pass, that's an independent thing. That's just specifically for the first 666 that burn the friendship tokens to get the 3D pass, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're well aware of the situation where, like, the previous tenor also asked, like, what if I already have a high ranking one? Like, what would I do? I don't want to put it into a float tank. So
Yeah.
the solution we came up with is, hey, we recognize you are a rare NFT holder, so we also want to give you some benefits through these 666 first class passes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then that's redeemable for, like you said, merch, right?
Yep, we're working on some cool merch. Yeah.
And then for the merch, is it like how should I say this? Is the merch limited, or is it is it open to everyone and the people with the 666 get first shot at it, or is it available to everyone?
No, it's going to be limited merch. We will be building a limited set just for the first class holders. So they're exclusive and limited to the people that only the people that have this pass. Yeah. So otherwise, the pass wouldn't really have value, right? If you are
Exactly.
first to claim it, then it's something that anybody else can get at any time. But
So you won't be walking down the street and meeting like 1,000 people with the same sweatshirt.
yeah. I mean, it's super limited. And then
Nice.
for other people, other holders that want to get physical merch later on, since we've already established the connection with Rocks to build our merch, we'll also have other merchandise that's not limited but accessible to all of our holders.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds awesome, man. Super excited. Super fun because you hold your ape and there's more utility.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. Thanks for
I'm glad to be
supporting
on
us.
board.
Yeah.
Good job to everybody out there, man. We're super excited. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
No problem.
All right. John 696969.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, you made it.
Yeah, made it finally. Yeah. Okay. Couple of questions. Okay, to start off with regards to the ZC announcement that you guys made last night, yesterday afternoon, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, I really have at least for ZC. So let's say if I purchase another zombie, would I be eligible for another white list or something?
Right. Okay.
Is that considered cheating? I don't know, man. Like, I just want to make it clear.
All right. You must be a huge fan of Sean.
Yeah, I am, and Zoofrenz as well.
Yeah. So we actually asked, because we have people with a crazy amount of zombies in one singular account. So we asked about this from Zombie Club. So yeah, when John asked about ZC, he's talking about Zombie Club, another very, very popular NFT project. I would actually say they are probably at the moment more popular than us. Hey John, can you mute your mic?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So we have 100 whitelist spots from Zombie Club, which is super, super exclusive right now, and we're able to secure it because we are one of their partners. And the way we want to hand it out this time to our holders is, if you own a zombie, then you would have a much higher a zombie 8 friends, you would have a much higher percentage in the raffle draw. And this is a utility that we designed for the zombies later on. And some of you guys might have seen the special zombie collab zombie designs that we made for the Zombie Club founders. So this was one of the things that we discussed with them about. And to John's question about, whoa, if I already have a whitelist from Zombie Club, like, and I win something from this raffle, what happens? So Zombie Club, they want to keep this lottery to one whitelist per person or per wallet. And yeah, they're trying to keep it very exclusive. Even on their end, it's basically only one whitelist per wallet. So yeah, if you have like 10 zombies, theoretically, that would increase your chance more than 10 times, because one zombie would probably give you like 1,000% more chance of winning whitelist from our whitelist raffle. So the more zombies you own, the higher chance you would have at getting this whitelist. But from this raffle, each wallet account is only able to claim one whitelist. John, does that answer your question?
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of more questions. Okay, I don't know if you guys gonna have further collaborations with ZC, but I'm looking forward to it, and that I would love to get more involved with you guys' project. Like, is there any other way for us, for me, like basically to help out and things like that, like in terms of voluntary help that you guys probably would need?
Yeah, definitely. This goes into the community bit a little bit. Let me answer your question first. So yes,
Okay.
yes, we are going to start taking in applications for our community. So we're looking for different roles. We're looking for helpers. We're looking for mods. We're looking for community managers on the Chinese side of things. So we'll open applications to that, and it should be either today or tomorrow. And once that's up, please, submit your application, and then we'll look through it and get in touch with you.
All right, that's cool. That's all for me
Cool.
for now. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank
Alright.
you.
So with that said, let me actually go into the community bit a little bit. I went into this in the Chinese AMA yesterday also. So we launched on the 18th. Sorry, we launched on the 9th. So right now it's the 12th day post-launch. It's only been 12 days, but in NFT world, that's a huge time. People say 1 week is a year in the NFT world, right? So in the past few days after we revealed, the team has been taking a break because we've been working super hard, basically overtime every day to prepare for the reveal for everybody. That's why some of you guys might have noticed that past few days, the community's been a little bit more quiet. We had less mods, and Lisa, who is our community manager, is not like there all the time like pre-launch. So now that the team is back and working, we are going to be ramping up on our community activities again. So Mark and Lisa will be working on, not only planning on more activities for you guys to do, we will be staffing up on our moderator team. So we will have, more than enough people to service everybody in the community and interact with you guys. I know this is something that you guys all care about, and this is also something that we are prioritizing, and we deeply care about the community, because without you guys, the NFT would be worthless. Yeah, so thank you for all the support and patience. And yeah, moving forward, we will definitely be paying all of our attention on our community. Okay. Actually, I see there's people raising hands, but I want to go over some of the other questions that now I'm remembering from our Chinese AMA. So there are people with concerns that if they are a Rarity 1 ranking holder, would they have a chance at getting a float tank? Since there's only 3,333 and there's total of 6,666 NFTs right now. So the reason why we haven't revealed on the exact pricing of what the float tank costs, how much does the 3D pass cost, is because we are trying to balance that. We actually, prior to launch, we have already came up with a number based on our original. We built an economy model based on our original forecast, but because the support for this float tank mechanic and our NFT is so much stronger than what we anticipated, that model no longer works. So if we actually use that model for our float tank pricing, what we saw was that our low ranking holders probably wouldn't be able to get a float tank. So we don't want that. That kind of goes against our original idea of having the low ranking holders get another shot to reroll. So we're reworking this economy model right now. And the idea is to balance between the low ranking holders as well as the whales who have shown tremendous support in buying multiple ape friends, right? So I cannot guarantee that everybody that only holds one ranking 1 NFT will be able to get a float tank, but what I can guarantee is that you guys will all have a chance. And then I think pairing that with if you participate in our activities in the metaverse to get more tokens, that would significantly increase your chances at getting a float tank. Okay, cool. So let's Kenner.
Thanks, I'm back.
Yeah.
Two questions. The first one was, okay, because when you're talking to the Happy Taiwan guy, when you use the float tank and it becomes the second series of Zoofrenz, right? Can you re-roll the re-roll, or you can only re-roll once and then it's over for that one?
Yeah, you can only re-roll once. You can't re-roll the re-roll.
The second question is, okay, you mentioned something about if a zombie, you get a higher chance, which I think everyone heard generally yesterday. What about the other ones, like the robot, the jelly guy? Do they have a higher chance than, say, a normal ape, or is everyone on par except for the zombie?
Yeah, we will actually, if you have a zombie or robot, a gummy or robot, you will also have a slightly higher chance in the raffle, but it's not going to be as high as the zombie. The zombie is kind of the star of this collab right now, so we want to make sure the zombies get a much bigger advantage, but we also recognize it looks like you're holding a gummy one, right? So you have a super rare one that's actually even rarer than the zombie in our collection and the robot. So you'll have a higher chance at getting the whitelist as well compared to regular ape friends. Okay,
last question. Is there any plans for you guys to, mention any utility for zombies after the raffle? Because, I think everyone is also thinking, once the raffle is done, they're going to dump their zombies, right? So is there something you guys are thinking of to ensure that, people are not buying their zombies at 1.5E and then absolutely dumping it at 0.6 later on?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, this is not what I anticipated for the zombie to go this high. I mean, I'm super excited that everyone loves the zombies. I mean, I love the zombie design as well. But in terms of like keeping the floor price, yeah, we do have some plans, and we do have many more collaborations with Zombie Club down the road after this raffle. So, I think anytime we do any kind of activity with Zombie Club, which will happen a lot this year, the zombies will definitely be the first ones to kind of receive those benefits. Yeah, so I mean,
great. So the message is, don't dump my zombie after the raffle.
Yeah, I mean the price is always going to fluctuate, right? Because anytime you have, if you look at say another project like Alpacas, right? They had the floor price for their 2D, the 2D avatars go up past like 1 point something, and then now that because people were anticipating the benefit of getting the 3D NFT for free, and then now that's gone, the floor price has like went down a little bit. But I think anytime they do another event with the 2D NFTs, then the pricing will come up again. So as long as you're confident in our ability to continue to deliver you guys value, it's worth holding.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Tanner. Oh, I see Harry. Harry, let's say hi to Harry. Harry, how's it going? Yo, I can't hear you. All right. It's okay. He's probably sorting something out. So meanwhile, let's bring up Leo88.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I can hear you now, Harry.
Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, no, you cut off again.
Oh, hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey,
Oh, man. You're cutting in and out. I can't hear you anymore.
you know,
Okay. This tease is killing me. Okay, Harry will probably come back. Maybe he's driving or something. Leo, what's up?
Okay, I come up here to ask another question for people. People are just too shy to come up here. So I'm sorry, I will be very fast because Harry's waiting, I guess. So they're asking about, is the next app friend a tiger?
The next ape friend a tiger. Oh, man. Yeah, it's not. Well, I mean, it hasn't really been announced, so I can't really confirm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we did release some sneak peeks of what the next Zoofrenz would be. I don't know if you've seen it, and it's on
I've
a
seen it.
roadmap. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are
Okay.
three
I think
animals that we're working on. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. I think I'll let Harry to come up again.
Yeah, where's Harry? Okay, Harry's coming back. Yo,
what's up?
hey, I can hear you now.
Can you
Great.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry, I'm driving around, so I just had got one question. So since our token is the ERC20 token, right?
Yeah.
So that means if a wheel coming in and to go to a sushi swap or Uniswap to have a liquidity pool,
Yes.
then people can actually to use ETH to purchase friendship token, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then whoever wants to provide liquidity, they also willing can, add a liquidity to the pool and earn the trading fees, if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing that we can do to stop them from doing that.
Correct.
Yeah, this is also a part of the beauty of Web3 is that once everything goes on chain,
Yeah.
it's basically on it. It's got a life of its own. Yeah. But officially, from us, the dev team will not be doing any kind of liquidity pools. I think that starts to detract away from the current stages of the project that we're trying to focus on.
Okay, sounds good. I
Yeah.
just wanted to know that. So everything's a community driven. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, unless Harry, you want to set up a liquidity pool.
I only got like 2 tokens.
2 tokens per day. Yeah. Man, thanks for coming by,
All right,
Harry.
man, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
No problem.
Drive
Yeah.
safe.
Thanks a
Drive
lot.
safe. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, we have John again. What's up, John?
Yeah.
Got another
Yeah,
question?
I have another. Yep. Okay, with regards to the 3D friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually thinking to get more 2D ones, like sweep the floor and things like that. And I want to own more 3D ape friends. So how can I ask you, like, when we transform to metaverse, which metaverse are you guys do you guys have in mind? Sandbox, Centraland, or anything like that?
Yeah. Right. So the whole thing about Zoofrenz is we are building towards being a metaverse IP. What that means is we're not trying to attach ourselves to a particular metaverse product. It's the goal of this project is to make it cross-platform in the metaverse. So what this means is any project that is now currently supporting the file formats that we're using, we'll plug it into their platforms. And then for the projects that doesn't support our format, if they become popular and there's demand from within the community, then we will try to find ways to create content for them. So one platform, for example, that I think a lot of people has been asking about is Sandbox, right? So Sandbox obviously is super popular right now. A lot of people are talking about it. There's a lot of brands going into Sandbox. The one thing that is kind of stopping us from being able to enter Sandbox right now is the fact that it's 3D voxels, right? So the way we designed Zoofrenz is we're leveraging our company's background in building these really high quality AAA game 3D models into building the 3D models of Zoofrenz. So everything that we build, we want it to be really detailed and really high quality and have like a lot of polygons. That's something that Sandbox actually currently doesn't support. So, I mean, as popular as they are, I think it would be really shitty for you guys if, you bought your A-Friends because you think it looks really good and then it turned super like blocky looking in the metaverse.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So I don't know what the roadmap looks like, but I think if Sandbox continues to be this popular, here's my theory. I think there will be two outcomes from this. If Sandbox becomes the dominant player in the metaverse, say like a year or two from now, they're going to get asked a lot of times about this particular situation, right? Because even if you look at the NFT projects now, only a very small portion of them are pixel. The other projects that are not pixel and are going to the metaverse, if any of those projects gets popular, I mean like Bored Ape, for example, right? Bored Ape has so much details on it. I can't really imagine what Bored Ape will look like in Sandbox because you'll be getting, it's almost like a super low-res version of Bored Ape, right? So those projects are going to ask Sandbox, hey, we want to bring Bored Apes into your world, but we can't make it so it looks like completely
It's
different.
later,
Yeah. So like, can you guys allow us to put in, at least the avatars to look like what our IP represents in your world? So my theory is when a lot of projects are starting to ask them that, then they will seriously consider providing options for, projects like Bored Apes or projects like us to have a higher resolution model in their world. So that's the first scenario. I do think it's likely that will happen. The other scenario is Sandbox becomes a dominant force, but they say, no, everything is going to be voxel. We can't really do anything else. And for whatever reason, they still end up being the dominant player. Then everybody else will start making pixelated version of their avatars in 3D. In that scenario, we'll probably also provide you guys with, like a Sandbox file of your ape, if that's something that you guys like. I mean, personally, I don't really
I don't
think...
like that, man. Like, seriously, that's kind of looks so shady, to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, this is my personal opinion. I don't see that happening, right? And you can kind of equate this to like, maybe some of you guys are really young and haven't experienced this, but I grew up with like 16-bit, 8-bit, and 16-bit games. So like playing games on Super Nintendo, right? And the graphics at the time was like, oh, this is killer. And then a couple years later, like Nintendo 64 and PlayStation came out with 3D graphics, which is much higher resolution. So this is the equivalent of somebody telling me, hey, you're putting a game out on PlayStation, why is it not pixel art? Like pixel art is what everybody likes, but the future is in 3D. It's in really high quality art. I mean, there's always going to be a place for pixel art, but I don't think that's going to be everything. Like the metaverse can't be all pixelated.
Yeah, that's true. I agree on that.
But
okay,
But yeah, I mean, we'll take care of you guys either way, right? So we'll do our best to get in touch with Sandbox to see what we can do to help them support these really high quality models that we're building. And then in the scenario that is an absolute no and Sandbox is super dominant, then we'll work with them to make pixel models. Yeah, that's something that we could totally do. Not a problem. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's all for me now. For now.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex, I have another question.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the Discord, and then I'm looking at the Chinese chat and the English chat, and there's a lot of people that have questions, but they're kind of confused and a little bit afraid to ask. So I'll ask for them.
Okay.
And it's basically touching upon what we briefly skirted a little bit earlier,
Right,
about the float tanks. So I think there's a little bit of a confusion that not everybody, a few people are, is when you use a float tank and you awaken your ape, it becomes another NFT collection. Can you elaborate on that so people can understand there's going to be two separate collections, and then briefly talk about when you said how it merges back together?
Yeah.
Just to get some clarity.
Yeah. So right now, when you use a float tank, anytime you use a float tank, you have to also provide a 2D ape friends. And then we will burn both those items, the float tank and your 2D ape friends, and then give you a new awakened ape. So the awakened ape is going to be in a new collection. It will still fall under the Zombot page, but on OpenSea, but you're going to see a different collection from the original collection with the awakened ape. So they will fall under two different collections. Yeah.
So there'll be two separate contracts?
Yes, because there are two separate contracts, so there's no way for us to combine them into one collection right now.
Yeah, I think that was the question that some of the people had in the chat, that in the Discord that's going right now. So once they go into two different collections, how will the rarity work if, let's say, it moves on to rarity tools or something? Will it be you have to look under two separate collections?
Yeah, for the time being, that will be the case, is because rarity tools and other kind of tool set that checks rarity is only looking at one contract, and I mean no other project is doing what we're doing right now, so we're sort of a first to be doing this kind of mechanic. And yeah, that is the great thing.
Very exciting. It keeps you from selling, right? Because you're kind of like always having something, a new spin on things. I think that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah, that was the idea. Is the inception of this, aside from the fact that we want people to reroll, is really it's a mechanic that we theorized in the beginning to combat the floor price dip post reveal. Yeah, but in terms of the rarity checking, you guys will have to check two different collections for rarity when you're making the purchase. I understand that might be a little bit of a hassle, so we have been talking internally about how we can help make this like an easier time for you guys to check the rarity. Yeah, but once
can you talk about a little bit briefly about you saying how it all kind of merges back together again at the very end?
Yes. So it does merge back together when you exchange your 2D NFT when you get the 3D NFT. When you get the 3D NFT, it doesn't matter which ape you have, whether it's Awaken or the current original collection, they will all go back into the same collection. So once you're there, your 3D NFT will be all ranked in the same page.
Yeah. I understand that. I think a lot of people were a little bit confused about how that process kind of works, and it's going to probably take a little bit of time for all of this to come together.
Yeah. So this is something that I think we anticipated before we launched. We knew this was going to happen. So it's something that we have to do a little bit more, put in more effort to notice the community and educate them on the details.
Cool, man. You guys might have to do this every month. New flow tanks to keep everybody super engaged for the rest of There it is.
New float tanks, maybe float tanks for 3D.
Yeah, you never know, man. Or like a float rocket or something to the moon.
Oh, that's a good idea. A rocket.
Right? It's like those science fiction movies where like people are traveling to a like far off world and it takes like 300 light years, so they have to go into deep sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
you go into like it's like a cryogenic tank in some spaceship. You gotta do that, and then after like a year, you come out like a beast.
Oh, yeah, that's an awesome idea. I love it. Let's do it.
All right, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
asking.
All right,
answering
thanks,
questions.
Alex. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, John.
Yep. I have another question.
Yeah, sure. Please
Are
ask.
you guys, do you guys have any plans like to host physical meetups like for holders, online to offline kind of thing to strengthen the community and things like that?
Yeah, so physical meetups, I think right now the concentration for our holders seems to mostly be in Asia. And we actually haven't done a head count of where everybody is, and perhaps that's something we should do, but physical events is something that the team really wants to do also. We just haven't gotten around to like planning that yet. And as you know, planning a physical event does take a lot of effort. That's not really the core competency of our team. So if we were to do it, we would have to hire an event planner and plan everything out. We do have the contacts for that. Through Zombie Club, they have a lot of connection in the entertainment industry, so it wouldn't be hard for us to set that up. We just need to figure out like where is the best location to start our first event, and then once we have a good, successful, gathering for everybody, then we can replicate that into other territories.
Because I actually envision physical meetups and things like it to make this more exclusive as well as ZC. So to be part of the exclusive club community member and things like that to strengthen the entire core of the foundation of holders. So yeah, that's why I asked this question.
Yeah, I'm sure Zombie Club and us will have like holder gatherings. That is definitely on the plans. So don't worry about that. Yeah, we'll have gatherings with their holders as well. Yeah.
Cool. Great. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Jenton, how's it going? You're up.
Yeah. Okay, my question is very simple. Basically, it's in the future, because we are the apps holders, so is there any possibles that in the futures that we can actually invite our friends to join Zoofrenz as well? Yes, sir.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, my question is, let's say, because we are apps holders, right? So since we are apps holder, because I would like to introduce this project to my friends, so that's any priority we can actually invite our friends to become a part of Zoofrenz to purchase the news. I mean the others animals.
Okay. What can I ask? What do you mean by like introducing your friends? Do you just want to like spread it?
I help them to help them to become a whitelist.
Oh, yeah, of course. We would love for you to do that. I think that's the whole idea of having this community, right? And so everybody can help each other and onboard new members into the team, so we can grow as a community. So yeah, if that's what you want, I like 1,000% support you doing that. We will also do our best to, I think moving forward, that's one of the things that we have been discussing this week, is seeing that we have so many supporters and holders that they're telling us this is their first NFTs. And to that, I say congratulations, because personally, for me, the first NFT experience I had was not as great as Zoofrenz. I actually lost money. So yeah, so I think we want to make our experience for these new NFT people that's entering into the NFT world as smooth as possible. So moving forward, we will probably have more engagement with these new members to help them on board. I think one of the first things I will do is to actually educate people on security. We'll invite security experts to come on and teach you on how to keep your NFTs more secure, and then do more activities around that to onboard new members. Yeah, so Jensen, feel free to bring on your friends. We have a lot more things coming down the pipeline. So you guys are still early. Even if you get your friends in now, they're still going to be early as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Tanner.
I'm back again. It feels like it's only 3 or 4 of us talking.
Yeah, why is everyone so shy? This was not the situation yesterday. Yesterday we have way more people wanting to talk.
Okay, this is moving a bit more forward to like the tokenomics end. Do you guys expect the tokens to be like a deflationary status where, you know, like especially people with only 1 or 2 apes would need to pretty much do a little bit of game theory where, you know, do you want to try go for the 333 pass, or do you want to go for a float tank? Like, do you expect there to be a shortage, in other words?
Not in the sense that you're talking about, because you as a ape holder will continuously generate tokens until we hit our cap. The current cap is actually quite high. We've set it so that for the next 3 years at least, you're going to continuously generate tokens. So it is deflationary in that there is a max supply, even though it's really long time from now. And you know, anytime you use a token, it does get burned. So, you know, past the max amount, it's not going to generate any more. The specific scenario you're talking about now, where people are making decision, that doesn't really fall into the deflationary scenario, I think. But you do have to make a decision purely based on time, right? Because if you say, you know, you only have enough token in the next 2 weeks to generate enough for the first class pass. So even though you can buy a float tank, if you buy that float tank, you might not have enough to, you know, get your first class pass before everybody else does. That is a decision point that we want people to make. You know, if you're a super whale and you own 80 NFTs, then I think you're an edge case that could get anything you want. But outside of that, which is majority of the people, like 95% or 97% of the holders right now, they probably won't have the luxury of getting every single item we're offering. So in that scenario, you know, we're offering this almost as a game for you, right? You're choosing what you want, and you're carefully selecting your path in the Zoofrenz journey.
Okay, but like in general, you probably expect that the burn rate and the production rate of token will be quite similar, isn't it?
Yes. It's not. I mean, the burn rate and production rate. Well, the production rate definitely won't change. It's fixed for now. The burn rate, that depends on how many activities that we're doing. You know, how many more NFTs we're pushing out. But we do plan on having a similar cadence to what our current releases is. So yeah, I mean, at least for this year and next year, you'll continue to have opportunities to spend your token every several months. You'll have a new NFT come out, and you know, you'll be able to spend your token on that.
Okay, great. Okay, one other question. I think you briefly mentioned it. The you know how the NFT community, there seems to be like a Taiwanese Hong Kong community, and then there's a Western community. I noticed this project primarily, you know, pretty much got faded by the Western community. Like, you know, I go into all the alpha groups, pretty much no one talked about Zoofrenz. You go to Kongs, you go to Jiras, no one talked about it. Do you guys have a plan to actually try to push, you know, marketing into the Western world?
Well, I mean, I would definitely start by having a deep conversation with whoever's in charge of marketing here. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we do have plans, and I mean, I spend Mark and I spend majority of our time in the U.S. and, you know, we've been back just in the past couple of years in Taiwan building Zombot, as well as, you know, like our relationships with current clients. So we're still very well connected and in touch with what's happening in the Western space. And I know there's a specific reason for why we have such a large Asian community, but yeah, we definitely haven't forgotten about, you know, our audience and potentially in the West as well. So moving forward, Yeah, definitely. We will be spending more time to reach out to influencers, YouTubers, celebrities in the US and partner with them to bring more awareness to Zoofrenz.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Tanner.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Anybody else? We have a lot of people here. We started with 70 something and then now we are at 179. So don't be shy, guys. Come up and ask some questions, because if you don't ask questions, then I would just assume that everybody knows everything already. Oh, John. I love
Getting
John.
a lot of
Hey,
repeat
what's up?
customers.
Yo.
Oh, man. Hey, I have another question with regards to token burning. So does
Yes.
that mean, okay, so if I let's say I own a couple of apes, right, and generate tokens, right? So
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong. Does that mean I can burn my tokens for your upcoming NFTs like tigers or whatever, like other animals and things like that? Or would I
Tigers
have
seems
to,
to be very popular now, huh?
yeah, or do I have to like grind, get a white lease, or like buy it on the floor, things like that? So how's it gonna work?
No, we don't want people to grind, of course, especially not our holders. So we don't have exact plans for that right now, but we do want you guys as holders of 8Friends, as early holders and supporters of our IP, to receive benefits down the road. So in part, in what you're talking about with new NFTs that we'll be releasing with new animals, yeah, you'll definitely be able to get them with the friendship tokens. Yeah, it's either going to be like a super steep discount where you're only paying a very small fee to get your 8Friends, or it's going to be completely free. But we want to make sure that you guys are well taken care of with our future releases.
The reason why I ask is because I missed out the initial phase and I got my 8Friends on the floor at quite a steep price. But because I love the art so much, I wouldn't mind paying for it. So, which is why I ask, for future collections, how are you guys gonna like roll it out and things like that? So, yep.
Yeah, you think it's steep price now? Later on, it's gonna
be a lot more. I know, man.
Yeah, I think once we get closer towards the 3D launch, you're gonna be set. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sumi.
Hi, morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, morning.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
I would just like to ask, because there's a ranking in our attributes, and then there's ranking based on those rarity tools. So I would like to ask, how does that come into play?
So ranking, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that affects how much token your NFT generates. So for ranking 1, it generates 8, and then ranking 2 is 9, and then 10. Wait, 8, 9. Is it? Yeah, am I right?
It's 8 through 14 once you're awakened. Well,
right.
You can have 14.
Yeah, so the rarity ranking affects how many tokens you generate. Aside from that, the rarities for everything else, if you're looking at the type, we have regular ape, and then we have zombie, and then we have gummy and robot. Zombie and gummy and robot are all super rare traits in our collection. So we want to give holders of these rare collections, rare traits, a special utility and bonuses. The first utility that we're giving to the zombies is the whitelist raffle for Zombie Club. So they would have a significant higher chance at winning these 100 whitelist spots for Zombie Club. And then afterwards, we will also have specific benefits for holders of these other rare types as well. So for gummy and robots, later on we'll have different utility for them. And then if you're talking about like other traits that's just visual, like for example, like if I have a pixel artist, which is like a computer screen head, like what does that do? People ask about this a lot. When we design these collection, our idea is to just make it look as cool as possible. So the main perk that you'll be getting is that you would have a really awesome NFT that looks really unique. So that is, I think, the main kind of goal of having these different traits. But whenever we have opportunity to share, utility and benefits with our holders, I think we'll always start with people that hold rare traits first.
Okay, and may I ask, by rare traits, you're referring to those visual traits as well, or just the rarity ranking and the type?
Rarity ranking. So when you say rarity ranking, are you referring to on rarity sniffer if you're like number
Yeah.
15 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think even if you're number 15, you will be like a 1 of 1 now, right? Because we have yeah.
Not so high, but what I mean is that because I think I currently have a rank 2, but then on rarity tools, it's obviously way higher, like in the top 100. So I'm just thinking like if that makes any difference, or is it like just visually?
So when you say rank 2, you're
better?
talking about your background, right? You have a green background.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the green background would give you 9 tokens a day when you generate it. And
Okay.
yeah, your rarity, if you're talking about like the rank number, like on the rarity list type of website, yeah, we don't have any kind of benefits specifically designed for people with high ranking.
Okay.
That is mainly on symbol of status, right? If you hold like, rank 100 or less, then you are like top, certain percentage, and then that gives you a certain amount of status symbol within our community and outside the community when our project is, like well known across. So that is our job. Our job is to make sure that whatever ranking you hold, it will only grow value over time. So, as we start growing this community, and not only in Asia but also in the West, if you hold Zoofrenz that's high ranking, you will get a lot of respect in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I understand now. Thanks for answering. Great talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Cool. Nobody. So let me share a little bit of information with you. This information might be like outdated by maybe like less than 24 hours, but I would like to share our holder percentage spread with you guys in case you're wondering like whether or not you would have opportunity to get the float tank. So for people holding one NFT, we have 67% right now, which is 2,550 something. And this is data I gathered from last night. So majority of people only have one NFTs, and then if we move up to people holding 2 NFTs, we have 19 point something percent, which is almost 20%. So 726 people have 2 NFTs. So these two combined adds up to, majority, like more than 90% of total ownership. So in case you guys are wondering, hey, I only own one NFT, do I have a chance at getting a float tank? The answer is, it's not guaranteed, but there is a chance for you to get it. It's not outside the realm of possibility. And then people holding 3 NFTs goes down to 5%. And then moving forward beyond that adds up to a total of like less than 3%. So very, very low amount of people that owns actually a lot of NFT in one wallet. Yeah. Janet, let's bring her up. Okay, by the way, I need to end this at 11:30, so in 10 minutes. And then I got to run into another meeting. But thank you guys for coming. This has been really awesome. Let's bring up Janet.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, great. I actually I forgot to ask yesterday. So if like we have more than one Zoofrenz in one wallet, right? For the website, will it impact the token claim? Like if you have 2, but instead it detect only one Zoofrenz?
Yeah, so if you have you're saying you have multiple wallets with Zoofrenz in it?
No, just one wallet, but multiple Zoofrenz.
Okay, one wallet, multiple Zoofrenz. Yes, if you sign in with your wallet, you would see multiple Zoofrenz showing up, and then individually, you can either choose to individually claim tokens on them, or you can claim token on all of them at once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the gas fee will be significantly less if we claim once, is it?
Yeah. The reason why we implemented the feature for you to either claim all or claim selected is the more you claim, the higher gas fee you would have to pay. So in the situation where maybe you don't feel like paying so much gas fee right now, you can just pick one or two and then claim that.
Yeah, to clarify, he means the more different ape friends that you are collecting from. The amount of tokens doesn't really affect the gas fee.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's tied to the number of NFTs selected. Yeah, number of token doesn't really change the gas fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's my question.
Okay. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, and if you do have multiple NFTs spread across different wallets, then you would just have to disconnect and reconnect for all your different wallets, but then your balances would also be on those different wallets. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's just like different accounts in a website. You're just logging into different accounts.
Would people be able to move their balances between wallets?
You can. The token is an NFT, right? So you can transfer your token like you can transfer Ethereum from one wallet to another. That's totally fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, let's bring up Tenor. Tenor's been a superstar today, helping us ask questions.
I sort of forgot my question. Wait, okay. You mentioned something about when they get ascended or something, right? Or when they get enlightened.
Yeah.
Do all the tokens already start to accumulate? No, do all the NFTs accumulate token already? Or only when they get, blessed or whatever, do they start accumulating?
No, so the token accumulation starts from the time of mint. Even if you bought on OpenSea, say yesterday, your the NFT would have accumulated 11 days worth of token already. So I think for everybody here, we're all in the same boat pretty much. The difference is probably at max, like, if you minted on the first minute when we open pre-sale, you would have like a 2-day head start versus people that minted on public sale. But other than that, yeah, your NFT is already generating tokens, like starting from 10 days ago.
Okay. And do you guys expect us to, like when we generate the tokens on your website, will we need to claim the token and then use them, or can we just keep them on your server and then use them through your system? But so in essence, we don't need to pay gas.
You would have,
gas.
yeah, you would have to claim, because so claiming the token is one smart contract, and then using the token to buy float tanks and the first class pass, that's also another contract. So they are, they're separate from each other. That's why we have to, keep it separate. And so yeah, you can't just like, have a balance and then use that to buy something on our website. That's not supported. But
yeah, okay, yeah,
to save gas fee, that's why I recommended everyone is, even though we allow you to claim tokens every 24 hours, you probably don't, because there's really no point in doing that. So only claim tokens when you need to use it. This way you only have to pay a one-time gas fee when you're getting the tokens out.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
John, our other
Yep, it's me
superstar today.
again.
Yes.
I have a question with regards to the first class VIP. I probably missed the Ask Me Anything session in Mandarin yesterday. So when you guys talked about like the first class, could you probably go through again? What does the first class do? And I just want to make sure I get first class. So how should I ensure myself that I would get that first class pass?
Yeah, so first class pass is first come, first served, and there are 666 spots. So as long as you're one of the people to purchase it first, you would have it. And in terms of the benefits that you get from it. The two benefits that we have announced is one of them is going to be a physical merch of apparel. So we're working with Eno Rocks on designing the clothing right now. And as soon as we have the design nailed down, which I think will be really cool actually, you guys will share it with you guys. The apparel that's going to be coming out of the first class holders will be exclusive to the first class pass holders. So, even if we release merch for all holders down the line, they're not going to be able to access these particular pieces of clothing. The other benefit is going to be the vinyl toys. So that's also something else that we're working on right now that will also be limited. But all in all, I think any benefits that you receive, first of all, they're going to be free. You're not going to pay anything if you hold the pass. And then second of all, they're going to be exclusive. So it's only for first class pass holders. Yeah. We want to...
which means... Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so which means to say I've got to accumulate enough tokens to burn to get a first class pass, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that depends on how many apes I own currently and the rarity of the background of this. Am I right to say that?
Yeah. So to give you guys a rough idea, right now we're still and take this with a slightly bit of grain of salt. The first class pass will probably be somewhere around double of what the float tank cost. So it's going it's going to cost more than the float tank. And obviously it needs to be higher because there's a physical merch component which is super rare, and then the quantity of the first class pass will also be a lot less.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But when we're talking about cost here, the tokens are free for everybody. So even though when I say cost double, it's really, it's not like aside from purchasing the apes, you're not really spending additional money on that.
Yep. Have you guys thought of creating your own metaverse or something like that?
I can't really answer that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's all for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay,
This
last
is
time
gonna
I
be our last
promise.
question.
Oh no, it's not a question actually. It's more like this. What I hope. I hope it will be nice if you limit how many of those 666 pass one account can get, so that it's not all swept up by the whales and it's more distributed evenly. So at least people that have one or two or three at least have a fighting chance of getting one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We will consider it, and then as soon as we have changes on it, we'll let you guys know. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want one person to hold all of it, because in the scenario that if we want to say, hey, first class pass holders, you guys can all come to Taipei and have a party with us, and one guy owns 100 of them, then that doesn't really do anything for the rest of the holders either. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, Tanner. Okay, so we are getting pretty close to 11:30 here. I think we'll just close it out. Seems like everybody is seems to be pretty well informed, right? And then stay tuned for next week. We'll have more announcements. Oh, we have Waka. Did he? All right. Yeah, let's take him in. Hello. You're muted. You need to unmute your mic, Waka.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it's me again. Yep. Sorry for asking. Yeah, and I just found a question that we both curious on, that is that the first cut class, as you mentioned, that it can be trade. Is it a separate collection of NFT as well? And the second question is that when people are consuming the first cut class, is it need to tie with one of the Zoofrenz, or is it just separate identity, just store in wallet, and it's a permanent identity of the first class pass owner? Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's a very good question. We haven't clarified this in the English AMA, I think. So the only thing that is bound or tied to your 2D NFT is the avatar pass, the ticket that you use to get the 3D NFT. That one needs to be tied to your 2D NFT because we need to keep the final number of everything to 6,666. Other than that, the other stuff that you're getting, which includes the first class pass and the float tank, they're not bound to anything. And they will be NFTs tradable on OpenSea in their own collection. So yeah, you can, once you get it, if you like receive benefits from it and you feel like you want to pass it on to somebody else, you can do that. If you buy a float tank and you feel like, oh, I don't want to use it right now, I want to put it on OpenSea for somebody else, you can do that as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of my question.
Okay,
Cool.
Thank you, Waka. All right.
Thank you.
So with that, I think let's close today's AMA. Thank you guys all for coming. And then next week we will have the token claiming website up. So we're super looking forward to, having all you guys participate in getting the tokens and then using the tokens on the float tank and the passes. And then before we start selling the float tanks to you guys, we will also be sharing sneak peeks of trades, new trades, and what the Awaken Ape looks like with you guys to make sure that you guys are aware of, what you will be getting. Because we don't want to have any kind of surprise, unpleasant surprise purchases for any of our holders. And then, in addition to that, we will also have more metaverse events in between for those of you who only hold one ape, or actually anybody else. All of our holders can participate to earn a little bit more tokens to, get a better chance at getting a float tank. Okay. All right. See you all. Bye-bye.